Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the House Party 5v5 Season 3 Finals, Game 3. We've got SkyHi on the blue side, White Lightning on the red side, and I am, of course, once again, Deck Club Ace, being joined by Mr. Stein, and last game we saw the Orianna coming out from Hobbs, and it was strong.
Strong is one word for it. Getting 2 solo kills on a Zir is another word for it. Would like to see some adaptation coming out from SkyHi. Would like to see Enemy possibly on a more aggressive jungler. I know he's been playing Nocturne a lot in solo queue. Nocturne with his most recent buffs. Crumbs has been a huge fan of it. Would love to see what he can do there. Would love to see Alcantos on a different mage, or just going on a different build path than the Azir itself. But there's the first pick Echo from Enemy. They're
Looks
really
like this
trying
time
to
they
deny
wanna deny
Chixig
it.
LP.
Yeah, and we see that they didn't actually change their bans up, so I guess they're okay with maybe giving Christina the Vayne again. But the real question is whether or not he's going to take it. It looks like we might possibly see a Darius. This would be the first one that I've seen, at least from either of these teams played, but wouldn't be really surprising. It'd be pretty fun to watch.
Yeah, the Bard Nocturne hovers for interesting comps. But it'll be really interesting to see how these teams kind of adapt going forward. For the chat spammers currently in Twitch chat, the count is 2-0 White Lightning up on SkyHi. But the Braum coming in for Simkev and the Nocturne coming out for Chixig LP. Was expecting it more on Enemy, but you know, I'm excited to see new Nocturne either way.
So I think, I'm not entirely sure, but it is possible that it will be used in the jungle. I think that we might see it used in the jungle. Now, if it is used top lane, it's a little bit of a weird pick. It has the potential of being strong, but the problem is that usually you feel bad because you're negating the usefulness of your early game, because you have to roam around more to be able to use it. If you play him in the jungle, then you could just kind of come out from anywhere. And it looks like Alcantos is not satisfied with Hobbs beating him with Orianna, so he's going to take the Orianna this time. See if it works out better for him than the Azir picks have.
Now, I don't know how I feel about the Nocturne being picked this early, though. Especially kind of blind. You only see the enemy jungler. Because I think the Ori Alistair adaptation going into the Nocturne is a absolutely brilliant pick, because it allows some immediate disengage or just isolation on the Nocturne if he goes in by himself. So it's really kind of hoping that Chixig LP is on a different page from the rest of White Lightning and goes in by himself and able to just get absolutely blown up. We do see Christina going on the Vayne again, had a fantastic game in the last one, and Habs going on to Victor, his control mage of choice.
Last time we saw Habs on Victor, he destroyed people. He did so much damage. He was able to just kind of nuke people down instantly. And yeah, sure, we see Victor do that a lot, but he was able to not just do that, but also be in positions to do them to people who weren't expecting to get bursted. Whether it's catching people out in the jungle, much like he was as an assassin,
and
or
we have a Darius pick.
Oh, the Darius pick. Oh, here it comes. I'm excited.
But yeah, like we said previously, if Victor is able to get on somebody and absolutely blow them up, I think it'd be very effective. I really like this Darius pick, especially because Mecha Nerd has had a very large lead on iSenpai in every matchup. iSenpai's done a fantastic job in team fighting. He's done a fantastic job having on these low farm tanks. But if anyone's going to be able to transition and do a lot of damage given the opportunity, it's going to be Mecha Nerd on this Darius, who's going to be a real threat and pressure. I'm guessing the Gnar is more likely for my senpai, given how well Gnar kind of deals with Darius, having the passive Q, but having the passive and the slow on Q. But I don't know how well he's going to be able to position these fights unless he sets up these flanks.
So one thing about the Darius, though, is that previously one of the issues that Darius had was his sustain was kind of bad. That being, it was non-existent. But now, with his ability to heal up 15% of his missing health per person that he hits with his axe, with a maximum of 30% obviously, he can actually heal a whole lot. I've seen a lot of people build him with a Spirit Visage. I've seen people go into high health items like occasionally a Warmogs, and he can just become almost unkillable the later the game goes on.
Unkillable
But
and doing basically true damage with his ultimate.
exactly, he just does so much damage.
Downright Darius.
Downright Darius. And hopefully Mecha Nerd has Dunk Master.
You know, I wouldn't mind the new Academy Darius skin. Mainly because I haven't seen it too much in game. Duckmaster is far and away my favorite skin, but we'll see how it goes moving forward.
We'll see which flavor of Dunk he decides to take.
Yeah, really interesting comp from White Lightning though, because it's again set up on iSenpai's ability to flank if they're choosing their fights. SkyHi has a lot of tools to be able to say like, don't come in this zone. You can't just walk up and attack us. And it's SkyHi for the third consecutive game in this series should be able to dictate when the fights start. They have
Cough,
failed
cough.
that. Cough, cough. They failed that in the last two series, and White Lightning has very much taken over. But we'll see how these two lineups really adapt to each other. The last second summoner spell switch, Hab's going to Ignite because he wants more blood of Alcantos, and Alcantos going from Ignite to Heal because I think he has a feeling that Habs wants more of the blood of Alcantos.
Yeah, I think he kind of realized that it might not be a good idea to bring Ignite on Oriana, because, I mean, even Hobbs didn't bring Ignite on Oriana.
Habs didn't need Ignite on Oriana,
I
but
mean, fair enough.
But that being said, it's another one of those, I wonder how Darius is going to be able to get into these fights, because he should not by any means be able to walk forward into a Vayne Braum. Braum's able to simply ultimate and just create too much of a terrain that's just a huge issue, especially if you have the gravity field and you have Cursino who's able to condemn Q, and just, it'll be really interesting. I don't think SkyHi wants to teamfight this comp. Mainly because White Lightning has shown that they're just terrifying team fighters in general, but I don't really know how well they can kind of dictate pressure across this map.
I think that White Lightning is kind of going for a more aggressive comp with this pick, because they want to be able to dive with Nocturne. Nocturne's whole thing is he wants to dive for picks, or he wants to use his ult for pressure. And they have so many options for diving in and just fighting people and doing so much damage. And I don't know. I think in a lot of situations there's been a lot of fighting, so I think overall SkyHi probably has the better team comp for the fighting, but I think White Lightning knows that, and they are willing to kind of rotate around and make the picks that they need to win. Because, of course, we're going to find out in a little bit. Cash is going to be taking a short break while we wait for the load screen. Catch you on the Rift. Welcome again, ladies and gentlemen, to House Party 5v5 Season 3 Finals. We are in Game 3. White Lightning on the red side, SkyHi on the blue side. White Lightning leading with 2 wins so far. This is a best of 3, though. So, keep in mind, SkyHi still has a chance. Of course,
And
I am Declavase being joined by Mr. Stein.
And I was right, Mecha Nerd does go with a new Academy Darius skin. So it's actually my first time I get to see it in game, so I'm pretty excited for that. But the same level 1 coming out from White Lightning, they're doing the kind of blanket protection-based strategy, give Dig LP the better earlier start, and hopefully use the advantage in the mid-game that they've kind of used a snowball for the rest of the series. So, Deck, how do you kind of see these early team fights going on? And I'm guessing Chixig LP is more than likely going to be more of a farm-based Nocturne, because Nocturnes usually farm till 6 until they gank, but his counter ganks have been really solid against enemy for most of the series.
I mean, we never know. I'm expecting, currently, of course, I'm expecting Hobbs to either win lane or go even enough or get camped. One of those three options. And from that, I think he might consider roaming around. The thing about playing with the Victor is it's a little bit dangerous for the enemy team, because if they try and chase, they'll take Victor laser damage. If they try and catch you, you can drop a stun field on yourself. You have a whole lot of burst potential. Now, we do see Kirstina again on this vein. He showed he was really good at it last game. We talked about it before that, he's shown he was really good on it before. But he showed that, yeah, he does actually know how to play this champion, and you should probably respect that.
Yeah.
But Darius is going to be the outlier.
But again, Darius, even before his rework, was traditionally bad against Vayne, because Vayne just could condemn and kite him out pretty easily if she has red buff or any sort of lifesteal and any sort of CC accompanying her to her. So I feel like the Mechanerd Darius pick is so much more for the solo lane and to try and take over the game that way. And I wish there was an easier way for them to start fights from this SkyHi squad to kind of dictate the pressure. Again,
I think it's kind of weird.
Yeah, neither team has picked true hard engage. Both teams have picked a lot of heavy disengage and have kind of just mutually agreed to walk into fights against each other, and then they just happened. And
yeah, like anytime they started, it was, okay, well, if they're going in, we may as well commit. Or
yeah, both teams,
we used
no
all
matter
our
what the goal
to go
is,
in.
Both teams, no matter what the goal is, going, yeah, I think I can fight this. And White Lightning has been probably the benefactor in 90% of these fights so far. But it'll be really interesting to see how these teams play out. Because there's a lot of very interesting tools and new dynamics coming in from both sides. I am really excited to see how well the Nocturne buffs change in. I feel like Nocturne was one of the the ones who gained the most out of this most recent patch, and a lot of people have neglected just what all he's able to do with a map with his new range on his ultimate.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things where people are so used to his ult not being all that great, and now it might actually, like, okay, it has been strong, but early game it was really weak after they had lowered the distance. One thing to say though, I have to say I agree with the pick for Darius because it's enemy.
Enemy looking to aggress here. Able to chase that on Habs. Habs still hasn't blown the flash. If he gets the Q, he can probably chase it out, but simply just says, hey, I'm here and I can walk away from this. And does a really solid job, gets chunked a little bit, but overall good pressure from enemy and good composure from Habs to stay alive.
I think that was really good from Habs because last time he got ganked by enemy really early, which I guess he was kind of expecting to get ganked early this time. Last time he was ganked early, when he was playing Zed, he got put behind because he had to use his
and another return gank coming here, but returns some damage again and doesn't blow the flash in that mid lane.
He's just refusing. He says, no, I'm not going to use it. I don't want to use it.
This is my flash. There are many like it, but this one is mine.
And Alcantos is kind of trying to keep up the pressure. He's got to be careful, though, because he currently doesn't have any wards out, and Chixig LP might not gank early, but if he does manage to get a little bit of a positioning and fears the Orianna into a stun, then there's not really much that he can do about it.
I do also want to highlight the early wards coming out from Mechanerd and enemy across the top side of the jungle. So it's giving Mechanerd the ability to really freely press and freely aggress in this top lane and give him already a 10 CS lead at 5 minutes. Because you have total control and total vision of this Nocturne. Now, Nocturne and enemy doing a little bit of scrapping here doesn't particularly turn out well for the Nocturne, but he's able to kind of just jump away from it. Turns around to try to get the ward because Habs is in lane and Alcantos is not, but all in all, despite the level advantage, that trade going out over to enemy.
Well, I think the trade going over to enemy was more because Chickstick LP saw that Mecha Nerd was coming down, and he did not want a chance fighting him near Mecha Nerd because there's no way he was going to win against Mecha Nerd.
I don't think anyone wants to find Mecha Nerd right now, except for iSenpai and Habs. They're both trying to chase in here, but there's not able to get any CC layered on. There's just a good bit of damage that early on. But Mecha Nerd's able to sustain that pretty freely off a single Q. And Chickstick LP should really just go back into this jungle, farm up, try to hit 6, and look to impact the mid lane, or possibly towards the bot.
Seeing already, there's not really any sort of lead coming out from bot side, both farming up pretty well. Of course, Agiles is pushing up, but it's kind of hard to not push up as Tristana. That's just kind of expected. Simkev catching that bomb like a true support.
Like a true support, saying this is where I will possess. But it's a really good call for Kurstina and Simkev to try to be more passive in this lane, not to push it out, because I can see something going very horribly wrong if Mecha Nerd is able to get any sort of teleport flank and just really get any more of a lead than he's already getting in this natural CS.
And look at this, even though Hobbs has been constantly getting ganked by enemy, he still maintains the lead by just a little bit. Not much, but it's just a little bit over Alcantos. It's like 2 minions worth of gold he has on him right now.
But I mean, that's also interesting because Habs has actually been down in CS in both earlier matchups against the Azir. But I mean, that also might be because Alcantos is incredibly comfortable on that Azir, and though his team fighting did not impress too much in the last 2 games, his CS and his lane mechanics have been very, very strong.
Yeah, it's okay though, because once more we see iSenpai unfortunately being the brunt of a bad joke and is behind Mecha Nerd. Not much he can do yet, but we'll see how that turns out for him. Neither have actually gone back and spent any gold yet. They're sitting on quite a bit.
Yeah, some early trades coming out in that bot lane. The level 6 on Simkev and Kuristina, but they are able to get this done and really put a lot of pressure onto Agiles. Probably going to force him out of lane here.
Just Brahm's Winner's Bite combined with concussive blows and then just having a Vayne able to proc it does so much damage, because since you automatically put 1 stack on them, Vayne, by proccing the 3rd one by herself, will always do her triple shot from the silver tipped arrows, or silver tipped bolts. So the amount of damage that you get on that 3rd proc is a ton. We saw it put Bleast down to half health. It put Agiles down to about a 1/3 of his health.
Yeah, no, it just does the Winner's Bite, or the concussive blows and silver bolts proc in that bot lane is absolutely terrifying. But it's just such a strong combination right now, because there's so many comps that just get shut down by the Braum ultimate, creating a huge field of slow. It's really difficult to get through. And like I said before, it's hard for Darius to get on champions if there's any sort of CC on him.
And we see both mid laners have their blue buffs now. A little bit of poking going out, but I think of the champions that have their blue buffs, I think that Victor's is more potent, because he tends to not want to build as much mana regen as, say, Orianna does, because Orianna has to spam her ball movement to be able to be effective. iSenpai not really willing to even show his face out. He knows what happens if Mecha Nerd fights him. He just doesn't want any of that.
But the early Dragon coming out, possibly for White Lightning here, they're doing it in full vision, but I guess they saw enemy on a ward. They know they have the timing of it. They know they have the control, especially because Kuristina has base. But Kuristina gets all in here by the bot lane. They are chasing down, and a beautiful flash comes out for Chickstick LP to try to escape, and it gets blown up by Habs. Habs really wants to flash over this wall before Darius kills him. And yes, he does go down to Alcantos, and it's a 1-for-1 trade overall.
All right. Mecha Nerd, what else can you get here? We know you want more. You want more blood.
All he wants is more blood. Really interesting call, Chickstick LP going in on enemy there, who's able to escape pretty freely, pretty safely, has the mobility, has the HP, instead of trying to help Kuristina, because he definitely could have gone on Agiles and Bleast, especially because Bleast flashed in to start that fight. But all in all, the trade turning out pretty well for both sides. White Lightning gets first blood, but SkyHi gets the advantage on this mid lane, and they're going to look to try to pressure this down with the Tristana. Unfortunately, Tristana only still has the Doran's Blade, so she doesn't have a ton of damage on here, but there's still enough to kind of threaten this turret and cause low health targets to walk forward. Ooh, Darius. Every time he goes for a pull, I just get excited thinking a fight is going to happen.
It can always happen. And one of the weird things, particularly, I played Darius a little bit back in season 3-ish, I believe, and playing him more recently, I've played a few games of him, and then I played him after they changed him, and it feels really weird having that slight delay on his Decimate, but it's also so satisfying if you hit somebody with a blade.
It's one of those that just go like, something feels wrong. I am casting this. It's not instantly happening. I'm not instantly doing... Oh, it hit them. That was a lot. This is great.
Like, oh, it actually does damage. Oh, that's fantastic. I'm gonna hit him with another one.
Yeah, but
Mechanerd wants the fight. He wants to make sure iSenpai is not backing.
It's funny, even with the teleport advantage coming out from iSenpai now, Mechanerd leaving for 2 lanes of CS, Mechanerd still has a CS lead. Mechanerd was that far ahead that he could teleport in very freely and not be punished.
And I think, unfortunately, because he could not go back before he came back to lane, he will have to go back now to spend his money. And that also means that iSenpai is going to be able to push the lane up and then potentially go back and spend his own money. And since there's not really much that either one of them can straight up buy yet, it's going to be fairly similar what they're going to buy. They're both going to try and buy a Phage, and they're both going to try and get a Kindle Gem.
Yeah, try to get those early black levers and then just stack as much HP as possible. Because frankly, though you can build more Darius, and though Ty might disagree with me, you don't need any more damage on the Darius than the black lever because his ult already does a crap ton, and he's able to just sustain and be an absolute force in all of these fights.
Particularly now, I don't think that you really need to build as much damage as people might have wanted to before, because, sure, I could build damage, but if I build tank, because of the strength of the heal from Decimate, I could just kind of stay in the fight forever if they don't focus me down with all of their resources.
Now, what's interesting is Mechanerd might go for a Frozen Mallet, which I don't think would be a bad choice at all, because if he's able to get on Habs or Cursina for a split second and get any sort of slow on them, the fight could end pretty much instantaneously, because there's still so much damage coming out from Agiles and Alcantos and Enemy in these fights.
Yeah, but like we had said before, the bot lane is just kind of being dictated by Kuristina and Simkev, because, you know, why not? They're managing, yeah, sure, they do get some return damage every so often, but they easily can force Agiles back with a Winner's Bite. They can easily force Blease back if he tries to engage with either a Condemn or a Winner's Bite, so it's... I don't know, they're probably going to need a little bit of help from Enemy down here. Currently, Kuristina and Simkev do not have any wards in the river. The only ward that they have, even close to it, is the pink ward that's sitting in that river bush up above Dragon.
Really interesting. Oh, Cinder Hulk is actually picked up for Chixtig LP here. Going for the tankier Nocturne build, I was really expecting it to be more of a damage-based Nocturne. I was hoping for the Warrior enchant. Possibly the Devourer enchant. I didn't think it was very likely.
I think that the Cinder Hulk is fine. I think that it might actually be better than the damage one simply because they do have the carries. They have Victor and they have Vayne.
Oh, I agree. I think it's fine. I just want it to be more damaging because I want to see Nocturne one-shot somebody.
But I think the thing you have to remember is Titanic Hydra is a thing. He can still get damage by building tank.
But yeah, I think it's really interesting. We haven't seen a Titanic Hydra this entire series so far. And I'm guessing we'll probably see 1, maybe 2 picked up in this game between Mechanerd and Chixtig LP. Chixtig LP currently invading, going for some vision tunnel within the own jungle, trying to set up for this dragon. It's their, I think, 3rd attempt going for this dragon so far. And they're in a position where they can probably get it pretty safely. Unfortunately, Kurisina not able to get a Condensed down and not able to get the 3rd Bolt Brock to really win that trade against Agiles, but still able to force him off, still able to make him jump away. And this dragon is going down very, very quickly. Enemies going for the Smite Seal, but doesn't quite get it in time. They're able to go in. Darius flashes in, gets the Q, but they're able to kind of back. They trade the Braum for the Echo. Moving forward, Darius is still alive, just being super tanky, but this could be a double kill overall, going over to Orianna, and a 2-for-1 fight going for SkyHi. It was a really awkward engage. Simkev wasn't really able to ult in too aggressive a position. Causes some terrain to be, like, scattered out there, but not able to really be controlled and dictated, and you don't have anyone isolated for the Nocturne and for the Feint to really just explode. So, overall, the fight going over to SkyHi. They're looking to try to continue to dictate the pressure and really fight and take down this turret, but turret's not going down too quickly. They probably will get on the next wave. Mechanerd does walk over and take the mid turret there, and overall, that advantage, I think, goes over to SkyHi.
I think that it does go to SkyHi, but before they had managed to get this little bit of tower pressure, it was kind of even, because although SkyHi managed to get 2 kills, White Lightning managed to actually get the dragon there before all that happened, and they did still manage to get a kill. So it's not like they walked away with nothing, and it was kind of unfortunate that iSenpai had to come when he did not have the Narbar filled. So when he got there, Mechanerd was there, and Mechanerd was ready. iSenpai was not. He had to start building his Rage Bar, and he just couldn't do it in time.
Yeah, really interesting pickups. I'm guessing a Blade of the Ruin King possibly coming up next for Chixig LP here. But he ends up going for it, does block the stun coming out. Enemy's chasing a little bit, Alcanto's trying to zone. This is a 3v3 here, but it's a support versus top laner, jungle, and mid laner here. The supports are there, and Alcanto's is on a rampage as Chixig's LP goes down with no flash there.
Jeez. The Darius alone is doing so much damage, but then you also have the Orianna doing damage, and it looks like he's maybe going for very similar to build what we saw Hobbs build. He already has his Needlessly Large Rod and his Amplifying Tome, and he's probably going to build that into a Death Cap. I'd like to see probably a little bit more out of iSenpai. I know that he was losing lane and he's catching up now, but it's really going to be hard for him to catch up if Mechanerd keeps getting assists like this. He did manage to get the tower, though.
Does able to get the tower. There's 1,300 gold lead going over to SkyHi. This is actually the biggest mid-game gold lead we've seen coming out for SkyHi yet. They're doing a really solid job of advancing the advantages they had in 2 of their solo lanes, which is ironic because it's the least lead they've had in their solo lanes so far. But doing a great job.
I think it's less about the size of the lead and more what they've been doing.
But we see Kurasina going for the all-in here on Agiles. Blows both summoners, trades flashes, but does not trade heals, and that's a big advantage going over to Kurasina there. An interesting dynamic in the trade between Chixig LP and enemy there, but it's a roaming death squad coming out for both teams. Now their team looking exactly at turrets that they can pressure down, or really being set up in a position to fight, but they group up and get Kurasina out of there.
Yeah, I think that right now they're pretty much just trying to roam around as a response, because if they don't roam around as a group, then they risk having what just happened in 2 instances where people have died because Mechanerd has been nearby and Alcantos has been nearby. And Alcantos has all of the kills of his team. He is showing that he does kind of know how to play Orianna right now, and that it's a risk to let him kind of just do what he wants. Sure, Hobbs is still doing well, and he does currently have a lot of damage he can do, but you can't do that if you have a Darius on you trying to kill you.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because we've had Alcantos in these positions where he's done well, he's gone even or a little bit ahead in each laning phase, but the big thing is we haven't seen Alcantos with a lead. This is the first really big lead saying, I am in this mid game, I am the carry, I am going to be strong for this team. We haven't seen it yet in this series. So I'm really hoping for Alcantos to show his stuff and kind of dominate and take control, as Habs did with Orianna in the previous game.
Now, one thing I do kind of like, though, is that with this Vayne pick that came out from Kurasina, as I had mentioned before, in the year of the Juggernauts, or I guess the patch of the Juggernauts, Vayne is one of the stronger AD carries to be fighting it, because she's very mobile, she has % health damage, which is very strong, and she just has a whole lot of ways of just kiting or CCing. She has the Condemn, she has the Invis coming out from her ult, and she can also just kind of tumble around. Tons of damage coming out from that command attack, command dissonance.
He does get Habs in it. He's trying to get a solo kill, much like Habs did, and Alcantos does turn around and get the solo kill on Habs in this series. You know, I'm starting to think mid laner should probably take barrier against Orianna.
It's a good idea.
Just in general. SkyHi uses this pick, tries to push forward into the jungle, takes a little bit off the map, moves forward, looks to be trying to pick up Simkev. Simkev still has flash. He's probably going to flash over the wall in just a second. Does a good job to escape with the ultimate. Mega Nerd blows his teleport again, and they're really not getting anything off this, but Dragon's up in 10 seconds, and they'll probably look to even out the Dragons after that.
I think that was a really good fight from SkyHi, but more importantly, I think that was a really, really good disengage from White Lightning, because they didn't give up anything but a flash. They gave up a single flash in that, and it was Simkev's flash. And his flash is probably the least valuable of the flashes they can give up.
Right. And there is, again, there is a propensity in the series not to build a speed-up item on the supports. You have Alistar, who does a fantastic job with Coin, because he's not going to be playing super aggressive. You have Braum, who does really well gelling with Righteous Glory, especially because Vayne doesn't really speed to that crit. She's a second, third item crit to where that the Zeeks is really strong. What an ultimate from Alcantas. Gets the setup. Mega Nerd gets one. He gets two. It's downright Darius. Does not get the third. He gets blown up by Habs before he can close the dunk for the triple kill. But a good dive, a great ult from Alcantas there. And that's a fight going over to SkyHi.
That was intense. I was not. Uh-oh.
I said like it's a big ultimate. Jixing LP is trying to go in, gets zoned out, and Alcantos gets another kill going over to 6-0-2.
Ugh. Alcantos showing he is, well, pretty good at Orianna as well, once again. That was an insane dive by Mecha Nerd. That was a fantastic shockwave from Alcantos to kind of set that up. Mecha Nerd not quite managing to get another target. He got really close to getting two of them, but maybe if he'd stuck on to one, he might
got really close to the third.
No, I was saying there were two of them that were low that he was going for.
And
he almost got either one of them, but if he'd focused on one of them, he might have gotten them. A little bit of greed coming out, but hey, when you're playing Darius, you may as well get a little bit greedy.
So gearing up, we see a 3,000 gold lead coming out in favor of SkyHi here. They're looking to gesture around the map, and as long as Simkev doesn't have the ultimate, it's pretty safe for this. Well, it's pretty easy for this SkyHi to set up a dive, especially with the Echo, especially with the Darius, because they're able to kind of get in and just sustain out or tank out and do pretty well here. iSenpai with a really good Gnar ult at the end of it, but Chixig LP not really able to do as much on this Nocturne as I had hoped for, and ends up getting soloed out.
I was kind of skeptical of the Nocturne pick. I still don't really agree with it. I haven't really, I've seen that it can do well, but it is harder to do well with it than a lot of other junglers that we've seen, and he has done well previously on other junglers. I know that maybe it wouldn't have fit the pick as well, but I would have liked to see something like, I don't know, a Skarner, or... Because Skarner wasn't banned.
And Skarner has not been banned or picked this entire series.
Right. So maybe they're saving that for, like, a Game 4, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, see, I love Nocturne in comps because I really enjoy playing him. But Nocturne is super good when he's a secondary diver. When you have someone else who's going through the front line and he's able to be the follow-up and not be the first focus. Because until you get to the super late game, he's not able to safely go in and cause a lot of chaos, a lot of damage. He does go in here on Alcantos, tries to all in him here, does get the follow-up from Simkev. This is ultimate. This is apparently what they want here, as long as they can dive and try to fight. Agiles is forced to jump away. Enemy goes onto Vayne here. It's a big ultimate, but he's only hitting Braum there. They're looking to chase through. Both sides kind of posturing, not knowing what they really want here, but Habs takes down Blease. iSenpai is ready, does have the ultimate, uses it, forces them away, and it's one kill and a lot of blinking health bars coming out for SkyHi and White Lightning.
Oh, it looks like Mecha Nerd's not quite done. Oh, never mind. Missing the apprehend says he is done.
I really hope that we get some distortion boots on the Darius, because when he doesn't have flash in these fights and he's not able to flank with a teleport, he's not able to do much because he gets kited out so hard.
Well, the thing was that the last time he had an incredibly strong fight, it was because of Alcantos getting a fantastic shockwave. This time, Alcantos only managed to shockwave Simkev, and Simkev didn't die. So, overall, I think that it just didn't go the way they expected. They were hoping, okay, they're going to collapse on us. We'll be able to knock them around a little bit, and then maybe throw Alistar in. Alistar died before he could really do a whole bunch, and I don't know. It just seemed like it was planned and then didn't go as planned.
Yeah, again, it's a series where though both sides have the tools to disengage, there is a mutual agreement to gentlemanly walk into each other in the middle of the lane and fight to the death. A good ultimate from Chixig LP to kind of chase down Alcantos, force him out of the fight, force their #1 damage threat right now, and be kind of chased out.
Enemy, I think you're in a bad spot.
Well, who catches who? Because both teams are looking to support each other, and though Mecha Nerd's out there, Mecha Nerd can TP very easily, but again, there's not a press using Orianna for deep vision to set up the wards for Mecha Nerd to come in from behind and do a lot of damage. Neither team has set up wards and set up these big flanks where these bruisers really shine in teamfights and in competitive fives.
And so, right now we see Mecha Nerd has built himself the Dead Man's Plate, and Dead Man's Plate is an item that initially I was kind of curious as to how good it was going to be, and it's just shown that it is very strong on these Juggernauts, and I don't know, I think that it's going to be a very important part of the meta from now on, because it gives a lot of health, it gives a lot of armor, and the passive movement speed boost, plus the insanely strong slow once it's fully stacked, once you get onto somebody, you don't need to have
on them.
Yeah, you stay on them. Like, it does a whole bunch of damage and slows.
It reminds me a lot of the old Sunfire Cape when it was just super gold efficient with stats. Because I believe it has a pretty similar gold cost and stat line to what it was there. It's just instead of the AoE smolder, you get the movement speed, which is so much more important in recent metas.
Well, in terms of its value, it ends up being fairly valuable. I don't know if it's 100% gold efficient at the start. I know that it's like around 95%, but when it starts to get stacked, it becomes fully gold efficient after like 20 stacks or something, and once it's fully stacked, it's incredibly gold efficient. You get so much movement speed from it.
Yeah, but really interesting. Both teams trying to set up, get some wards. No one has... Again, I really want either of these teams to set up deep wards and let iSenpai and Mecha Nerd show their true fighting prowess and really just show off in these fights, because they've both been in situations where they've had to just walk at each other, and you lose half your HP walking at each other. You do something kind of cool, like iSenpai's had some gorgeous ultimates this series, and then just nothing happened.
And I think it's really going to come down to the late game at this point, because yes, SkyHi does have a lead right now, but it's not really that big. Like, we're talking not even a full 3k gold lead yet, and they have one tower over White Lightning. And that one tower is the bot tower. And the only reason that tower hasn't been taken yet is because every time Kurosine has been down there, he hasn't been going for the tower. He's been trying to assassinate Agiles by himself.
I mean, if you're Kurosine, I don't blame him for constantly going for these one-on-one assassination plays on Agiles. Mainly because he can. He can. And he's gotten a lot of pressure and always kind of forced Agiles out of these fights or put him in positions where he hasn't been comfortable enough to do damage, which has been absolutely huge and minimized some of the gold lead that's coming out for SkyHi as a team. Now, he hasn't been able to do the same to Alcantos. Chixig LP did that in the last fight, but it's been in a situation where, despite the gold lead, the carries haven't been in a position to really do the damage, and it caused that last fight, though it was just a 1-for-0, to really do nothing. So we have a pause.
Of course, but it's not House Party 5v5 without at least one pause. But I do want to talk. I have to highlight here the rotation from SkyHi, because SkyHi decided to push up top lane. They managed to get a little bit of vision in, and that allowed them to kind of make sure that they have decent vision for Baron. They might necessarily go for Baron, but it's forcing White Lightning to kind of clear out some of that vision before they can do anything else. We will see disconnect coming out from Simkev. He will be back in shortly. And I'm not sure. What I expect to come out from SkyHi is they're going to try and bait out more fights and abuse this phenomenal lead that Alcantos and Mecha Nerd have. They're in the position that Kuristina and Hobbs were in last game. Now they just need to use it. Although Agiles isn't very far behind, he's not particularly ahead either. And while I like the Zeke's Harbinger coming out from Blease, I think that it's a little bit... I think that it's too early for it. Sure, it'll give Agiles a little bit more damage, but Agiles right now doesn't do enough to warrant giving him this extra buff. I think that they would be better off building, like, say, a movement item. Maybe a Righteous Glory.
I've been asking for a Righteous Glory or an Ancient Coin this entire series. Just
I really
that
think...
lets these two teams that are planning on simply walking into each other to walk into each other slightly faster.
Like, I really think that Blease would have been better off building the Righteous Glory.
But both teams kind of fighting over this ward. Blease takes a ton of damage. Another reason a Catalyst and a Righteous Glory would be really strong for him to give him a little bit more tanky stats, especially against Habs' overall damage. But good rotational play coming from SkyHi. They're using Darius and Echo to control these chokes really well and give a couple more seconds where this Tristana is able to just bash on turrets. But iSenpai has a bit of a Narbar. They might look to fight this, especially with the middle wave, and wow, what Q damage coming out.
Agile's taking so much damage. Time for the dive.
A good spell shield coming out for Nocturne. Starts this fight off pretty well. iSenpai's not quite Mega Gnar yet. Christina's free hitting in the background. A good ultimate from iSenpai. Locks him up. Habs is on a killing spree. A good ultimate coming back from Alcantos will probably stop this fight. But overall, it is a 2-for-0 for White Lightning.
Once again, White Lightning managed to get a situation where it was actually favorable for them. The last couple of fights haven't gone their way. It was very unfortunate because most of the time, iSenpai was not in a position to be able to fight. Or somebody would get caught out and they couldn't do anything. This time, Agiles took a lot of damage, and because of that, it allowed Chickstig LP to abuse that to initiate. Once he was in, iSenpai was already really close to going Mega. He was able to just kind of jump in. As soon as he goes Mega, fantastic Gnar ult. Kuristina, no.
Wrong bush, babe. Mecha Nerd takes her down with the unfortunate bush X coming from Kuristina. Didn't try to flash, didn't try to heal. She knew she was dead. Vayne knew she was dead, and, you know...
Kuristina, come on, man. I know that you're better than this. It was a lapse of judgment.
I mean, it's been a long 2 games so far.
That's fair. It's been... The last 2 games were really hectic for them, so... I will give him that it might be a little bit of the fatigue setting in, but we still have 2 more games after this if SkyHi manages to continue this lead and win. And if they do win, I have to ask, well, does White Lightning decide to actually ban out the Darius? Because we've seen Mecha Nerd will win lane. He has won lane every time. Do they want to give him a champion who, if he wins lane, he's rewarded for it?
I don't think the Darius is as big of a pick right here. I think it's more of not picking the Nocturne. And I will admit, I was excited for it. I really wanted it to be picked. I wanted it to be brought forward. But overall, it hasn't been doing too much. I mean, it did a good job in the last 2 fights. It had zoned off Alcantos and it zoned off Agiles after she was hit by just a single Q from Habs. But I want something with more of an early game presence to shut down the Darius. Get Darius behind. It's the TSM mantra from Season 2 Worlds of if Darius gets behind... We know we can pick Darius because we'll win the 2v2. But if it's not a 2v2, if there's a gank, if they're camped, if they're pressured at all, and iSenpai gets a lead. iSenpai has already shown a lot of great team fighting prowess while being behind in gold. I would love to see what iSenpai can do with a gold lead.
Oh, Mecha Nerd. It's a nice spell shield, but the flash hook is here.
The second one was not chasing down Chickstig LP, but they're not able to get any follow-up on it. They do get the fear on... But it's kind of a game of chicken of who's going to walk forward. I don't know if I want this. iSenpai does not have the rage bar, so I'm guessing White Lightning does not want this fight here.
Seems very unlikely, but that will be pressure for the dragon, and it's probably going to go down really fast here. Yeah, it's already just melting, but look at Baron.
Yeah, White Lightning immediately is going really on to Baron. This is, and I want iSenpai to try to be zoning and slowing them out. They're still 5k gold. They should get out. They should not be here. This is a bad call. But it's going to be a Baron over to White Lightning. They're trying to just blow up the Darius and get him out, but Darius is so tanky. And they're gonna just disengage, and they get a Baron. And again, Habs & Co. makes me eat my words of calling it a bad idea.
So okay, I can say why I understand their decision making there, because it was a little weird maybe at first to say why would they do Baron? They can't kill it that fast. Mecha Nerd just used his flash. They know he used his flash. So the only way for him to get in, because they don't have any movement speed items, is to walk in. And because Simkev is playing Braum, it's relatively easy for him to just drop a Glacial Fissure, and you can't just walk in through that. It's a huge slow. And the knockup is a nice way of stopping them. So they managed to take out, and they didn't even have to waste any summoners. They didn't use anything. The only ability they had to use was the Glacial Fissure.
I didn't expect it to go down so quickly, even with Kursina on the Bane, who has just absolutely tons of damage right now. But I didn't expect it to just be burnt down as quickly as it was. I'm wondering what they can do with this Baron, though. They don't have the best siege squad.
They're going to manage to get the spot tower, probably. I mean, it's really,
probably. It's a tier 1.
It's a tier 1 tower.
They don't,
and it's low.
But they don't have an extreme ability to kind of just pressure out these waves. Alcantos being so far ahead has a 4-item Orianna, definitely has the wave clear, especially alongside Tristana, to just kind of pop these waves. But we'll see where they go moving forward. Kursina is possibly caught out here. She has to flash away. There's a 3-man squad already going for her. Chixig LP is zoned out from the fight, but they're just focusing the Alistair even through it. Even through everything, Alistair is able to go down. Chixig LP is still in the middle of this fight, taking up quite a bit of damage. Echo is kind of caught out here, dives backwards, and just able to chase. I don't know which way they want to go in this fight, but a beautiful ult from MySetby. They're able to chase down. They're going on the Darius. Alcantos misses the ultimate. The ult goes backwards down, and that's 2 kills going onto White Lightning, and they're able to pressure out this wave.
Oh, the burst from the dissonance on Hobbs. So, okay, so I have to say, the Nocturne play there was fantastic. Oh, man. They're getting really low. They need to run. And to talk about... sorry, I'm just out of breath here now. To talk about what I'm saying here is... Chixig LP started fighting, and he chased them, and I was kind of curious. He chased them down, and I didn't know what he was doing. But we saw that Agiles was actually being zoned to go behind the Dragon Pit. So as soon as he saw that, he saw an opportunity to get away. He used his ult, which he had saved for the entire fight, and ulted over to Agiles, and Agiles jumped over the wall. Suddenly, he's completely safe. And just so much damage coming out on Bleeze. Even through Unbreakable Will, they managed to kill him. That's a huge damage reduction, and it didn't even matter.
My question is, why are you so afraid of this single damage item Nocturne? Like, you have a Cinder Hulk, base stats, and a Cutlass to do damage. Like that, they should... SkyHi has enough damage to just turn on him, and you don't kill him necessarily, but you give Agiles enough ability to chase down and wait, and... oh, how downright of a Darius play is this going to be? He gets stunned out, Shriek's Gauge is going to come out, and that's Kursina killing Mecha Nerd, and, you know, he said this is revenge for the push play earlier.
So... something from Kursina there, he saved the Condemn. And I know that he saved it intentionally, because as soon as you see the windup for that Decimate, he condemned him away so that he couldn't get the heal off at all.
Yeah.
He's like, no, you cannot heal your health. Go away.
You cannot magically regain 700 HP, but beautiful play from Chixig LP in that last fight. A great condemn onto Habs. A little bit late of a blue trinket there to kind of get the chase down, but this is still going to be another kill for the bot lane. And great job dictating pressure from White Lightning. They're given an inch to work with, and they're doing a fantastic job with it. iSenpai does have Megadar here, but he's not looking to ult him against the wall. Habs does have his Chaos Storm, but they're just dictating pressure all over again.
Well, you gave him an inch, and they're taking a mile. They got the slightest lead in a fight, and now they're just going left and right and just taking everything they want now.
I wonder if we're going to see Darius versus Vayne round 3 coming in this mid lane. They're just kind of dancing around each other. Nothing too much happening. Misses the Condemn. Will not be able to get that mid tier 2, but instead kind of set up, possibly rotate down with the team in just a wave to get everything ready. But
at this point, I don't even think that he should rotate, because he has to defend this mid against Vayne. If he leaves, Vayne's going to kill it. It's super low.
I mean, I wonder if Vayne is going to rotate to try to take the bot tier 2. But
oh, well, yeah, it's...
Either way, they back out to get Dragon Control and get things prepped up. I'm really excited for this next fight coming up. But I wonder, when is SkyHi going to realize they can just kill Nocturne? Like, if 4 damage threats with 4 damage threats with less gold are able to blow up an Alistair through his Unbreakable Will, you are able to kill a Nocturne with half a damage item. You're able to out-DPS him.
Like, with Nocturne, he's got a decent amount of tank stats. Sure, he'll take a lot of damage from a few abilities, but his health, he's got like 3,000 health full. This is not a fight they want.
But they're looking to try to dictate it. They're jumping onto Alcantas here. Alcantas is being zoned for the fight. SkyHi is in the back of the pit, is blown away. That's not where you want to blow your team. Enemy does a great job ulting away from this fight. This is all over the place. Mechanerd gets his first kill, is walking forward. If he's able to get onto Kursina just dies, but both of them play this giant game of chicken, and it's so 1-for-1 with both junglers going down here.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Mechanerd had to pop his flash there, so I don't really know if he's going to try and fight this, because it's going to be really, really hard for him to.
Yeah, he's already in base, but he's
going for the teleport, though.
He's going for the home guard teleport. He does have a flank ward in place. Habs does blow him up, but wow, Darius is really coming into this fight. They get the double stun on him, and they're able to chase him away. And oh, Victor damage. Habs, why is every champion you play masking as an assassin?
So I just have to say for a second that Habs, that was completely surprising because I was blown away. I was like, why is he flashing? Oh, he can kill Darius right now. Right.
Darius has a lot of HP, has no MR outside of those Merc treads. Would love to see a Hex Drinker on this champion to give another shield on top of the Shriek's gauge. But
speaking of Hex Drinker. Oh
wow.
Hello, Hex Drinker.
But really interesting fight, and another great play from Chixig LP, using this Nocturne to zone away one of the carries from SkyHi being too afraid to really deal with it, and Alcantas not doing anything in these fights despite being the majority of his team's gold.
Yeah, like, he's so far ahead. He has so much gold. He's almost completed his 6th item, and he's still playing defensively, or he's missing an ult, or he's not using quite as much dissonance damage as he could be doing.
And he's caught out here. And we're seeing if they're all in this here. And yes, the ultimate does not come out. Agiles jumps forward into a questionable situation. These are the things that Tilt is made of. That's a triple kill going over to Kursina. With 50-second death timers, they're probably going to look to crack the base here, if not go to their second Baron of the game.
You know, we have Vayne spotting, but I think we need Tristana spotting. I think we need, if you dive into the enemy team.
Or can we just get a Chixig LP catch bar? Like, how many times he's ulted a target by themselves, forced them to flash away, and had someone else jump in and then die as a result. But that's the base being cracked open at the 42-minute mark. There's still 30 seconds on the clock. They're going towards this Baron. I don't expect a 2v5 for Mechanerd and enemy, but I've been wrong so many times this series already that it doesn't really matter what I think.
No. See, you've been wrong with Hobbs. Now the question is, can Mechanerd prove you wrong?
Well,
Mechanerd, you can't fight this. Go away.
Go away. I'm iSenpai, go away. And Baron does end up going down to the red team. White Lightning in complete control of this game. They were behind, but again, it's SkyHi not really using their advantage, not setting up the forward words. Mechanerd gets his first solid home guard teleport flank in, but with no one else to dive forward. Yeah, with no one else to dive forward with him, he gets condemned into a wall and then has to run.
And it's unfortunate because they did have a 2,000 gold lead. They did have the lead here, but they didn't take advantage of it. They forced dragons, sure, but the dragons aren't going to win you the game. And eventually, you're going to make a mistake, and it happened. They made a mistake in a team fight. They fought in a situation that was bad for them, and suddenly, it got turned around on them.
And how fast did that turn happen? And all with that Baron call. The Baron call that, for the 4th time in the series, I didn't think White Lightning would go for.
Once more, you questioned Hobbs.
Okay. I think that was more of questioning their entire team. I didn't say, Habs, why you're doing this. I said, why is White Lightning doing this? So, it's not just Habs, it's all of White Lightning. And I should definitely, have some sort of reverse caster scores and talk about what White Lightning shouldn't do the rest of the series. White Lightning should not go on to be an LCS team. White Lightning should not take over Worlds, beat Faker in Season 6, should not rep the House Party 5v5 logo and make us famous. It's fine. But currently, they are definitely pushing down this bot tier 2 with Baron looking completely calm and composed, while iSenpai has his Mega Gnar up.
And we're talking about White Lightning here. I can say in the season, throughout the season that they've been playing, they've shown that if they get a little bit of a lead, they can do a lot with it. Even when they've been behind, they've managed to come back. And this is just another really good example of that. It's a little bit of SkyHi kind of giving them a little bit more than they probably should have. But White Lightning managing to do so much with that little bit that they got. That just shows how good of a team they are. Now, SkyHi, they have shown that they are good. White Lightning is the team we were expecting to do well anyway, because they only lost one game in the entire season. So we are expecting them to perform well.
Oh, hey, look, there's finally a movement speed item 45 minutes into Game 3.
Oh, yeah, and unfortunately didn't get to do anything.
Nope.
But it just goes to show, SkyHi, next season, win or lose this series, not saying it's over yet, but win or lose, SkyHi is going to be a really good team next season because they've managed to do so much against a team that is as good as White Lightning.
They're able to do so much with a sub in their jungle. It's not Learning Climb, it's Chixtick LP this game. With someone who was a sub in the mid lane, Habs, though he took over the role from Froggen. Just overall, no matter who they seem to field in their lineup, to be not only comfortable, but confident. And together in their team fighting, together in their vision control, and though occasionally overstepping as individuals, overall as a team doing well and being super aggressive, especially with Simkev and Kursina doing a fantastic job of this lane. But they're... That was a little bit questionable.
Goodbye, Agiles.
Agiles finally says, we're gonna chase you down, we're finally gonna catch Kursina, and then realizes no one else is on the same page as he is.
We're gonna catch Kursina. Oh wait, the rest of his team is back here waiting for me.
These are the things that tilts are made of.
Yep.
Overall, great play from White Lightning through the series. There's been great vision now to make sure that there has this is a big fight coming out, but Orianna does not have her ultimate up yet. Does a lot of damage, be able to kite things out. But this is what happens when Darius is able to get on his targets. They're able to chase these down. Simkev and Kursina go down. iSenpai is able to ultimate away. Chixtick LP is limping away, and Habs is split pushing bot lane. But he's still able to limp. Habs gets blown up. I don't think he's gonna win, but no!
Oh my god!
I said it. I said I don't think Habs, and then it happened.
How dare you doubt
Why do I keep... Why do I keep telling Habs he can't do things? Is Habs gonna win? No. It's finally Bleeze who's able to take him down. After all that work. Why am I doubting Habs? I will repent for my sins. Dixing
so
LP is probably going down to enemy here. iSenpai is looking to try to stop him. There's the Aegis Shield. Does not have the field. Does not have any mana. Flashes away. Who will be able to chase out who? Would prefer to see pretty much anything other than this happening right here. Who would love to see White Lightning using this time to get objectives, to pressure around the map. But no, they're instead just going to get their 4th dragon of the game, which is a big dragon, and slowly trying to stem the bleeding. They have all 3 inhibitor turrets down. They are still in this game. They have a Lake Tristana. They have a complete build Orianna. And they have a reset champion with a on this Darius.
Complete build Orianna that was killed by Hobbs, who had no health left.
I plead the 5th.
I plead the 5th. That was great though. That was a really good fight. We were talking about how well the series is probably over, and we're shown up. SkyHi, it says it's not over yet. We still have Mecha Nerd. We still have the ability to fight.
These are the things that Casting Curse is made of. We should probably issue a public apology statement by the end of this game deck for doubt, neglect, and Caster's Curse for both teams.
Oh man. Alright, so seeing a huge wave being built for SkyHi bot lane. Baron's up in 40 seconds. this would be the time where they want to maintain control of this. They don't want to do
Someone's
what's happening
gonna need to go down to deal with that wave. That wave is probably gonna hit the inhibitor turret in about a minute 20, but it's not gonna stop pressing, and it's gonna get big. That's a wave that will hit the turret and hit it hard in a couple of minutes. The same wave is kind of forming in the top lane a little bit, but Cursina is already out there dealing with it, and you have SkyHi positioning to try to make a play in this mid lane.
I think this is a position that actually favors White Lightning because, okay, they have to run away from the ball, but they have the wave clear, so all it's going to take is a little bit of momentum. But they do have to watch out for the ball, though.
They do have to watch out for the ball, but likewise, Sky has to watch out for the lasers.
Alright, Christina is back. They lost a tower for it, but got himself a little bit more farm. I don't know why he needs it, but you know, whatever.
They're setting up a
with
death
a nice
rush
bush
here.
gank.
But I mean, they should be able to see it. Chixing LP should be fine, but there's Mecha Nerd's able to get on top of him. You see Chixing LP all alone here. He dives under the Tristana. Tristana's able to do anything, but a beautiful ultimate by SkyHi here. Kirsty is able to chase him out. SkyHi is able to chase. He has a ton of damage still. No one is on Habs. Habs is just free hitting in the backline. Kirsty is trying to move forward here. They're trying to chase. It is a 2-for-2 with both supports and junglers going down. Or with the support and the top laner going down for SkyHi, and the support jungler going down for White Lightning. But Kirstina finds Agile here.
Over the
why
wall.
are you there? Why are you by yourself? Why have you decided your life is not worth living?
Why have you betrayed me?
Why have you betrayed me? With Flash and heal still up.
Still has the heal, has it warded. He knows Christina is there. He knows he's there. There's a ward there.
Well, that big wave I was talking about earlier gets cleared out by Senpai. Habs and Christina look to try to get vision control over this Baron. It's 15 minutes into the game. There's a 6k gold lead coming out for SkyHi, but at this point, you're about one item away for Tristana where it doesn't matter, where everything is about even. You have Vayne at complete items right now. You have Victor at complete items. You have Rob probably at the most completed items you're going to get. And you're Maul Mortius away from Senpai being completely finished out. At this point, Chixing LP has sold his 1/2 damage item to buy a Thornmail instead. So he understands his role in these teamfights and knows he's his own threat. But
And with the chain vest, I can only assume that he's going for a GA as well.
probably. Or maybe a Dead Man's Blade. I mean, I don't
Could
think
be a Dead Man's Blade.
I think Dead Man's Blade would be probably fantastic on him. But currently, we have Mecha Nerd who's able to slow down and chase outside Senpai, but their Chixing LP is going on is going down to Alcantos, then realizes he doesn't have damage. But there is enough time bought there for Kursina to solo out and kill Mecha Nerd. There's a 74-second death time on here. I would love to see them take all 3 inhibitors here because they have the time to do it. Back out and get Baron and just end the game with minion waves.
I mean,
That
at this
being
point,
said, it's this series, so anything could happen, and more than likely, a slow play is not one of them.
it looks like Mecha Nerd is going to be spawning in 50 seconds. Not really much that they can do. Looks like they're having to split up, and we do actually see Simkev, as you said earlier, picked up a banner of command, so Tristana has to clear out that minion.
But he didn't banner the cannon minion. He
bannered a melee.
He bannered it. Fine.
Okay.
It's fine. Well, there's 25 seconds left on Mecha Nerd. Mecha Nerd will have plenty of places to teleport in on these fights, and only one inhibitor is able to go.
That was a
weird
weird condemn stuff.
That was a great condemn from Kuristina, and a very bizarre animation, but a great play. Kuristina is able to get the inhibitor, but they really need to be careful with Mecha Nerd up in 5 seconds. And he has home guard and teleport. You should be able to find a flank if they don't back out right now.
Yeah, a little bit to explain what happened with that condemn. So Blease was using his headbutt over the tower, and because he got stunned towards the tower, and he was coming from one side, it just sort of nudged him out of the tower and to the closest side, which happened to be the direction he was coming from. So it's kind of weird. It's okay. They did manage to get 2 inhibitors for their time. Bot lane is pushing in towards SkyHi. This dragon's going to be going down really fast, and then we might see a Baron afterwards. Oh, seeing a teleport coming out from iSenpai. Oh, and a pause.
Pause. Because why else? So, Deck, do you want to talk about what is happening, or what will happen next? Because there's been talk of doing some in-houses after the series, and there's also going to be the NA ladder released.
Right, so a little bit of explanation. We did announce on the subreddit that it would be announced after the game, but the the sign-up sheet for the next season, which will pretty much get you into the minor league, will be going up after these games. We will also be doing, after this game, we'll have a very brief break, and then we will do an interview with the winning captain and likely the MVP of that team. We do have a few questions for them. Obviously, it will be very exciting, but... besides that...
Well, we have more exciting news, because apparently we've been told the link is about to be posted in chat right now. So you get your first opportunity to sign up for the minor league for next season for House Party 5v5, and maybe, hey, we'll be casting your finals in just a little bit. So... the NA app is now online. It is on Twitch. And right as we post it, we're ready for the game. We're unpausing in just a couple seconds. So can we get a chat countdown in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we are back in game.
All right, and we're back in game to a dragon fight that SkyHi is starting. iSenpai did teleport in onto that ward. He is about halfway going to Mega. Mecha Nerd, I don't think you want to do this.
I don't think iSenpai wants to do this either. They're dabbing out in the backline, but Chixing LP does not have a ton of damage. They do have a ton of chase. Braum with a beautiful ultimate and a great ultimate from iSenpai. Habs able to get on enemy, and no one goes down to the Oriana ult. There's nothing there. They're still chasing. There's just a death club in the front, and Kurasina is joining in this fight in just a second. She has to be very careful. Flashes away from the hook, and Habs is still trying to chase, trying to get a ton of damage. He does get the hourglass at the last second, but there's the jump lane from Haggiles, and he goes down. What a condemn from Kurasina. Such quick hands, and Arcantos catches Chick LP from looking just a little bit too hard. But a fantastic fight coming out for White Lightning again. Another Oriana ult that doesn't go according to plan. And another rocket jump for Haggiles that doesn't go according to plan. And a third dragon going over to White Lightning.
So, something to say though was that fight, we didn't even really mention it in that fight, but the Glacial Fissure from Simkev was beautiful. It hit 4 people that were currently in melee because they had collapsed on Chixtig LP and iSenpai, and it managed to catch Agiles. So he hit all 5 people with it, which opened up iSenpai an opportunity to throw a 4-man Gnar ult and slam everyone into the wall. The only person that was out of that was Agiles, and he wasn't in a position to be able to help his team. Alcantos did not get the sort of ult that he needed. The shockwave didn't quite land where he wanted it, didn't quite kill anyone, so he couldn't get the damage out that he wanted. This is going to be a nice quick Baron.
But is it going to be quick enough? Because our enemy is coming up with the with his smite still up. Yes, it does go down just in time for Kurasina. Enemy peeks his head over the wall, sees the Baron goes down, and peeks his head right back out.
Says, I probably don't want to fight there. Hobbs and Kurasina are there, and they have my number.
This is, what, the 3rd Baron overall going over to White Lightning this game? And they're looking to still try to close it out. There are 2 inhibitors going down.
Looks like they're just going to all rotate towards bot lane and get this bot tower, or the bot inhibitor down.
It's okay. Habs was looking to outplay the Rapture in that and make sure that he didn't take damage from it by his own using there. No one noticed it, Habs. You're definitely not having a godlike series. It's fine.
Oh yeah, no, never.
But they're pressuring this bot wave here. I don't really know why they're pushing up with the minions. They could just kind of walk up to the naked inhibitor itself. But I guess they're going to try to slow play this. There are 3 members of SkyHi who are currently caught out. They're all basing as they pressured out that bot wave really quickly. But Oriana picks up another item, sells her Rallies for a Luden's Echo to add more damage to her lineup, and it's hard Mecha Nerd needs to get on the back line. He needs to find a place to TP. There needs to be a ward to TP, or just something to press out so he can get on top and cause threat. Cause something for him and enemy to go forward and get into. Because
Senpai's halfway to going Mega.
If you slow play this, like White Lightning is, then you have 2 waves of super minions hitting the base and 1 turret to deal with them. That turret goes down very, very quickly. But Senpai is looking to engage here. He ults 2 people and they just blow up the Darius. But that's a huge ultimate coming out for Alcanto. Kursita is cutting it out. Habs is still chasing it. Mecha Nerd and Bleach go down, and that's probably the game. And Habs just blows up Alcanto and says, "You solo killed me once. I get the revenge." That's the series. That's the championship. That's a White Lightning 3-0.
Well played, White Lightning, and well played from SkyHi. We totally expected SkyHi to come up, and they might not have won a game, but they got really close multiple times. They showed that they're a good team, but White Lightning, they just came out ahead. They dominated. They showed how good they are. GG, well played. Congratulations to our winners of the finals. We're going to be taking a short break, and afterwards we are going to be doing a quick interview with the winners. See you guys soon.